Folks, welcome back to the Priory Podcast. My name is Dave Jackson. Welcome back to my little man cave here in Western PA. And on today's Priory Podcast, we have a two-time Roger winner, a WOCO winner. He was in the Air Force for 10 years, security policeman, and did a little civil engineering as well. He was on the 1983 Land of Make Believe tour, stateside tour. 1987, the We Are the People tour, also stateside. He did the 1987 Bob Hope birthday special, and then toured again in 1988 Magic of Imagination tour. That's a lot of touring there, folks. He's also a doctor. We have a doctor in the house tonight, folks, and I'm very excited to talk to him. In case you didn't guess it, we have Mr. Daryl Harris today on the podcast. So let's go talk to Daryl. On you. Folks, we're here with Dr. Daryl Harris. I'm very excited to talk to this young man. Good to see you, Daryl.
Good to see you. It's good to be seen, brother.
So, full disclosure for the folks watching, Daryl and I actually did this last week, but we had a technical issue. So I had to scrap the recording. So Daryl and I are back, and we're going to try this again. And we're going to be as sincere as possible, even though we did this once before.
Right. Hey,
so
it's just rehearsal, man.
Yeah, man. So before we can start with everything blue and blue adjacent, how are you doing? Everything okay on your end? How's the family? Is everybody good? What's going on in your life right now?
Man, everybody's good, man. My oldest is in Utah, and he's playing semi-pro ball and basketball. Yeah, and he's driving big rigs and stuff. But he actually just got a job working for the city there, so he's in training for that, driving trains. And everybody else is fine. My daughters and my youngest, he's 18. He's at home, and he's doing his thing.
Right.
Yeah, he's the Taekwondo kid.
So what level is he at now?
He's a third dan. That's a third-degree black belt. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a four-time national champion. Yeah, man.
And he's been doing that. How long has he been doing this whole jiu-jitsu thing? For how long? Since he was like a toddler?
Yeah, well, no, since he was 9, getting ready to turn 10. I'll say 10, and he's 18 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was that something he wanted to go into? You just said, or did you point him to it?
Well, he actually, the school was right by our house, so we were going to our grocery store, Kroger, and saw the school, and he said, I want to try that. Yeah, he was 9.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Yeah, he's tremendous.
He became an instructor at the school.
What?
Yeah. So when he graduates from high school, we're going to open his own Taekwondo academy. He's going to have his own school. So we're doing that.
All right.
Everything's cool, man.
All right, good. You're in good health. You're in good spirits?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man.
Outstanding. Okay. So I told the folks on the Facebook website I wasn't going to post anything this week, which I'm not. I'm going to wait till Monday.
Okay.
In honor of Jimmy Walker. So having said that, I know everybody took the time this week to go to the service and whatnot. Give us your thoughts on Jimmy, if you would, please, sir.
Jimmy took me under his wing early. I met Jimmy actually when I think I was in basic training. When I got to basic training, I already knew about Thompson Blue because my recruiter told me about it, because he knew I went to the School of Performing Arts here in Atlanta. And he told me the Air Force about the band system, and he told me about Thompson Blue. So whenever I had free time, I went to go find wherever Thompson Blue was. And I went to Arnold Hall and everywhere looking, and finally I connected with somebody, and a guy named Ron Morgan came to my basic training. I was in the 3743rd Squadron, and he came and pulled me out of basic and brought me over to the Chaparral, which is the production center.
Right, production center now, or it was production center, yeah.
And the band was in there rehearsing, and they said, "What, do you know this song?" And it was Just Once by James Ingram,
Mm-hmm.
and I happened to know it. And we did it. We started the song and it was going great, everything. And when we got to the chorus and we started getting really into the song, back in those days, there was a little projection booth
Mm-hmm.
window,
Yeah,
just a little hole up top.
which became
And
Tom's office.
exactly. And we were singing, and I was singing and doing everything and performing. And I saw a head pop up in that window with glasses. And that was the first time I had ever saw Mr. Edwards, Tom
Mm-hmm.
Edwards. And the band kept going, but we were like, whoa. And I started dancing. I did the moonwalk across the stage. I
Of
played
course you did.
played bongos, you know. Only thing was, they found out that I had only been in basic like maybe 3 weeks, so they couldn't pull me out of basic
Well,
for a
how did
little.
they even get you out? Hold that thought. How did they get you? I mean, they just didn't come to your squadron in basic training and say, "Hey, you want to go over to to Chaparral?" I mean, how did that whole thing transpire?
To be honest, man, I kept asking around the base everywhere, and when finally someone at Arnold Hall,
Uh,
it was Ron Morgan, and he said, "Oh, you're trying to get in the Air Force Entertainment." I said, "Yes, sir. My recruiter told me about it." And rest in peace, Ron. I guess he told someone else, and they said bring him over, and he
wow.
came and got me. Yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
the Air
man.
Force was a lot different in those days. Because
Oh yeah,
yeah, because I was in basic in 80. You were in basic in what, 81, 82,
81,
81.
August, August of
That's when there was
81.
a zillion squadrons and there was airmen everywhere and
Yeah, we didn't have
clubs.
timeout cards, though. We didn't have timeout cards.
Yo, that's true. That's true. Wow, that blows me away. Wow. So, anyways, please continue.
Yeah, so I was told then to when I got to my permanent duty station to compete, and I did in '82. After I finished basic training, I went to the police academy,
Mhm.
and then I got stationed in Alconbury, England, and they let me compete. I hadn't even been there a whole year. I didn't have my 5 skill level or anything.
And this is when the Air Force was fat,
Yeah,
lots of
yeah.
people.
Oh
So
yeah.
they really did miss Daryl because they had plenty of people back then.
Tons of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I went on the road and I went and competed. And back then I was in USAFE. We had 3 levels of competition before you could get to worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
It's level, regional, and then command level.
Man, yeah.
Yeah. And so by the time I got to worldwide, I realized when we got to the finals, we were like, we're competing against a juggernaut. This guy is a Thompson Blue legend. His name is Bill Parks. He
Oh,
was the Elvis Presley of the world. You hear me? That guy was everything Elvis. And here we are, a dance trio.
right.
We're a dance group. But being trained by Jack Jackson, who ran the USAFE Showcase,
Sure.
being put through everything that we had to deal with, with that, we were ready, and we
Yeah.
ended up winning. We won our first Roger in the musical potpourri category.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't get selected for Thompson Blue that year,
So
but
that would have been for the 82 team, right?
yes,
Okay.
right. And Jack Jackson, rest his soul, we all call him, affectionately call him Daddy. He came to my room and said, "Hey man, you want to go showcase?" So I went USAFE Showcase. Now the following year in '83, it was a little different because we went showcase before we went to worldwide.
Yeah. So you won a command level, got selected for command level, right?
Mhm.
At USAFE, did the
Yeah,
showcase, then went to worldwide.
yeah. So
Yeah.
when we were touring though, we were actually doing our acts in the show. So
Mhm.
it's like we were rehearsing everywhere we went.
So you were tight, tight.
Yeah, by the time we got to worldwide, it was yeah,
So
real
that's
tough.
something I've never really. known, or maybe I just didn't ask anybody. For the folks who were on Showcase, were all the acts that went on, they got selected to go on the Showcase tour, whether it was USAFE or SAC or TAC or whoever,
Mhm.
was it exclusively the acts that they did at the command level, or did they add stuff to it, or did you guys was it just a straight show of the acts that you did at command level?
I know I can remember when I did my first sax showcase, I think in '84. There was a her name was Sandy Karnak, may she rest in peace. She she incorporated other things into the show, like comedy skits and other things that you weren't doing at Worldwide, but
Mhm.
we did do most of our acts in the show.
Right.
It was kind of like you, Safety, you
Yeah.
know. Mhm. But it was different, man. You know, and you, Safety, you know, by the time we got to Worldwide, we were ready for everything.
Yeah.
And in SAC, um, SAC was different, man. You really had to come ready at SAC, man. That you go to Barksdale, you better be ready because first of all, if you're a male vocalist, Huey Gaucher is going to be waiting for you there,
Wait. Waiting in the wings.
waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one. There were other people that came out of SAC that were awesome, but you knew if Huey was there, you were going to have to fight for that first
Right.
place male vocal. But
Well,
I
we
went.
digressed a little bit. Go back to your thoughts about Mr. Walker.
Oh, my fault, Jimmy.
No, it's all right.
Man, I'm going to tell you something that makes me that made me really understand who Jimmy was. He and my worst performance ever at Worldwide. You know how they ask priors to perform?
Mhm.
I was horrible, and
What year
and
was this?
I think it was like maybe 2004. I can't remember. And I
Okay.
sang a song by Ruben Studdard called "Sorry 2004." Oh my gosh. I was so sorry in 2004. But listen, um, I got clowned, but it was okay. But when I walked out of the theater, man, out of Bob Hope, and just walked off by myself with my head hanging, and I heard a voice and said, "Hey, clown, what are you doing?" And I turned around and it was Jimmy Walker.
Mhm.
He said, "Listen, you don't hang your head around here. You're a legend. Stop that."
Mhm.
Yeah. You know what? People that know you, we know what you can do. And the people that love you are hurting for you just like you're hurting right now.
That's exactly right.
You
Yeah.
know? And he said, the ones that you got to look out for are the ones that are in there snickering and laughing and elbowing each other.
Mhm.
But you're a legend and you conduct yourself as such.
Yeah.
And that helped me gain the confidence to go back in there and face that flop I just did, you know? And he was that type of person. Oh, and he'll get you. He was so quick with it. Like one time we were in Arnold Hall and he was standing in the doorway of the ballroom. And he was like, "Yeah, you think I can kick the top of this door frame?" I was like, "Jimmy, don't hurt yourself. Come on, Moose, bro. Come on, man." Right? And that dude stood there, threw one leg up, kicked the top of the door frame, and brought his leg back down and said, "Hey, can
Are
you
you
do that?"
kidding me?
No, he did it. And but listen what he said. He said, "Hey, can you do that, Michael Fraction?" That dude, woo, that dude was off the chain, man. I love that dude.
Yeah.
That's my big brother, man. He called me big brother. He said, "You look like my brother Kevin." And
Oh.
yeah, I want you guys to meet. And when we met, we were like, "Oh yeah, okay, we look like we could be family."
Wow. So
Yeah,
he concurred with his version of his brother. Wow. Nice.
yeah, yeah, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
He's a um I I was just going through my texts from him before I came down and fired up the laptop for this, and
Hmm.
just to go back through and all the little because he would just send me little bits of advice, going all the way back to I've got texts from him. I don't know, 11 years. I think I saw 12 years,
Um,
and it was just random checking in.
wow.
Don't worry about this, don't worry about that. It was just random checking in. How you doing? That
Hmm.
type of thing. I mean, from Jimmy Walker. I mean, other than our interactions at Worldwides,
Legend.
I mean, I didn't have any interface with him during my years on
Okay.
tour or anything. It was just all worldwide, and obviously some staging stuff, for the tour and whatnot. But no, not as much as you guys had.
Yeah, man. That
Yeah,
guy, man, he was different, man. He could change the atmosphere of a room when he walked in,
yeah,
and without saying a word.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then when you would hear, you know what? When I first heard some of Jimmy's poetry, like the piece that he did when he won drama at Worldwide one year,
hmm
that was
I
it.
got I gotta find that. Now you've got me intrigued even more. I gotta find that.
Oh,
It's gotta be
dude.
somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah. I think, you know what? I think Mr. Edwards, I think Chief read it at the final banquet one year. I think he's read it before.
Okay.
It's beautiful, man. It's deep.
Wow. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, and Jimmy's voice, you know how everyone loved James Earl Jones. That was our James Earl Jones, Jimmy.
Yeah.
You
And he's
know,
a historical figure in the Air Force, correct?
come on, man, you know it. Yes, come on, first black air traffic
First
controller,
black air
man.
traffic controller.
Come
What
on,
year are we
brother,
talking about?
dude. To be honest, I don't know. All I know is our brother was that.
First. Yeah.
Yes, he was that.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and what crazy is, you wouldn't even know it if he did if someone didn't tell you. He never brought it up.
Yeah.
He would never say, I was such and such. Never.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't brag on it. I never heard him brag on it.
No,
Not one bit.
not
Not one bit.
once. Yeah.
Nope.
He's a beautiful spirit, man.
He
And
did
I'm
the
just
voice of Rod. Didn't he do the voice of Roger a few times?
absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And when I went on tour in 87, I think it was 87, we had a spaceship. I had to do this alien emperor's voice. To like talk to the alien emperor or whatever. I was the emperor, but I had to talk to the spaceship commander.
Okay.
And I asked Jimmy how to do that crap because I was like, wait a minute. First of all, I can't talk deep like Jimmy. You know what I mean? I
Right.
couldn't talk like, but
Yeah.
he said, listen, stop worrying about it because they're going to put something on your voice. You just get as low as you can and say it like this, in such a, so I was like, okay. And it turned out awesome, man. It turned out
Amazing.
great. So he, he, he was different, man. Every staging that I went to, Jimmy would stop by.
Yeah.
You know, he was checking on every team. And he would make sure that you knew you could do it. Keep pushing. Don't get
Yeah.
discouraged. That was his message.
Well, when he would just randomly walk into a room, he just commanded respect. I mean, he was just
Yeah,
yeah.
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 He was
Wow.
so quick with it. You really didn't want to challenge him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's so quick with it. I,
Yeah.
I made the mistake of challenging Jimmy once and I got the microfraction stuff. And I made that mistake with one of our funniest brothers, Walter Campbell.
hmm
I made that mistake with Walt too.
Okay.
The same year, the 2004 mishap, I call it the thing that never happened.
The mishap, the debacle.
Yeah. Yes, the old Shagness. Listen, um, he Walt was rehearsing in the theater, getting all the acts like you MC normally does,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was sitting out there in the audience with a few of the contestants and stuff, and I said, "Hey, Walt, don't make me get up there and do some comedy." Why did I say that? Why? You know what he said?
What?
In front of people. He said, "I thought that's what you did last night."
That's classic Walt.
I love the dude, man. Hey, that's somebody who's been to the school of Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep.
He's like this. So I never mess with Walt like that again.
Right.
But
Wow.
yeah, Jimmy was if he loved you, you knew it.
Mm.
You know, and if he didn't like you, that was a lie.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
It's a lie. You say that. That's not what he would say.
Yep.
You know,
Wow.
Jimmy. I never heard him talk badly about anyone.
Oh, me either. Me either.
Never,
I never heard him
never,
slam anybody. Never happened.
not
If he did, I
once.
didn't hear it. If he did, I didn't hear it.
No, he slammed me, but to my face.
To your face. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, wake up. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
big brother, man, big brother.
All right. Well, let's. I want to hear about your 80. I want to hear about your tours. I'm really intrigued about the 83 tour. I was overseas during 83. You were on the stateside tour in 83, correct?
Absolutely,
All right.
yes.
Give us the folks. Give the folks a breakdown of what the 83 tour was about.
The '83 tour was the land of make believe. I believe that. Yeah, the land of make believe.
Okay.
That tour was my first TIB tour. I had um, my dance group had won musical potpourri that year, so myself and one of the other dancers in my group, his name was Raymond Moore, were selected for the tour that year. And what's crazy is I competed in musical potpourri as a dancer, but I
Mhm.
was selected as a vocalist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Raymond was selected as the dancer for the tour.
Oh, okay.
Now, yeah, sound okay, but when you're not, uh, when you get up there with vocalists like Terry Weeks, who was a Grammy Award winner with the Temptations,
Right.
Tony Clark, Floyd Martinez, who had just been on tour in '82, he was on that tour.
Mhm.
Um, you know, but that year was different because they only had four male vocalists and a dancer, so that was five guys and four girls, four
Did the
female
overseas tour
vocalists.
have the same amount of people, or was this unique to you guys?
No, same amount, same
Wow,
thing.
that's
Yeah,
incredible.
the tours were a lot smaller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot more
yeah.
work.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, those we call them the marathons. You know what? They didn't bother me, man, because I really wanted to work. I really wanted to, because I knew that I had to work harder than everybody else because they could sing circles around me.
Right.
So I knew that I had to work hard. And some people say, "Oh, Daryl's conceited. Oh, he's overconfident." So no, I had to get that confidence. I had to draw that from the people that I was surrounded by. And
Right.
those are the guys who created that beast. Terry Weeks, he used to pull me aside and say, "No, you need to do this riff like this. You need to do this. You
Right.
need to breathe this. You need to hold this note like this." He taught me how to carry a note in the bucket.
Hmm.
I taught him how not to use his third left foot. Yeah, because Terry had two left feet, and he would tell you that, and he was like, "No, I'm where I'm at now because my brother Daryl was an inspiration. He taught me how to step, you know, and that's the type of thing that I draw from my Thompson Blues family. So that first tour, we um we had Ed Knox,
Hmm.
Thompson Blue legend,
Hmm.
funny MC, and Rich Nemeth. He was another. Rich Nemeth was an awesome set builder and set designer and painter and all that stuff. He designed our set that year
Oh.
and and painted it and did all that stuff. Rich, rest in peace, buddy. But yeah, he was awesome, and he played a character called Ebner Fubble, and it was like a game show type of thing where Ed goes in the audience and finds a contestant, and then the show starts, and and it's a treasure chest, and it raises up. And when the treasure chest opens up, you see the vocalists inside opening, doing the dances, doing the choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of different stuff that year. We did a Dream Girl set. Melissa killed it. Melissa was awesome. We did all of our ladies were killer diller in that set. We did the Jackson 5 set.
Mm-hmm.
We did Barry Manilow set. Floyd was killing in that.
So there was a specific artist sets. It wasn't like a compilation, a bunch of medleys and whatnot. It was specific sets. Really interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And in the opening of the show, we had like 4 really quick changes. The guys did.
Mm-hmm.
And like he would say, "Hey, you got to pick one of these doors. This door, you can be a clown." And we'd come out dressed like clowns and sing a song like clowns. And then we go back in the book because
Right.
they were like huge books on stage, and the book would open, and whatever was on the cover would come out.
Right.
So it's like you could be a pirate, and we come out dressed like pirates and sing a song like pirates.
What a great
You know?
concept.
Oh yeah, man, it was crazy. And yeah, Tom did all of the choreography. Basically, he let me do a little thing here and there, but
That
Tom
blows me away. That man can just
he, he's different.
he can do everything. I mean, when I saw him tap dance on the stage at the 40th reunion show, I was like, I mean, I knew he tap danced in the past, but I was like, whoa, look at the
Yeah,
guy go. It's amazing. Who was
that
the
was
tour director that year?
T.A. Burrows.
TA. Wow. So you had Ed
T.A.
Knox and TA Burrows in the same.
Man,
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
talking about real, real, a real man's man.
Hmm.
T.A. TA taught us how to respect ourselves, each other, and how to respect what we were doing out there and why we were out there. Because there and this only happened once. We got up there kind of playing on stage and like someone would mess up and we used to cover for each other like that didn't happen.
Hmm.
But we started like snickering and laughing a little bit and it got contagious where basically everybody on stage was laughing. Um, Tia didn't say anything to us until the next morning. I mean, literally.
Oh.
We tore down.
Hmm.
We went to the banquet. Nothing.
So he
We
let
got
you
on.
stew on it for a little bit. Wow.
We're thinking, okay, if we just make sure that we're on time to the bus and we don't cause any problems, we'll be okay.
Mhm.
No,
No.
we got on that bus. TA got on that bus and started taking off his jumpsuit, took off all of his TIB stuff,
Mhm.
and said, "I'm embarrassed by what you guys did last night.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even want to be affiliated with what you did. That was horrible, and I'm embarrassed." And that hurt us more than him yelling at us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
That coming from TA because he's never been like that. And for him to say he was disappointed and oh, every time we stepped on the stage after that, we tried to burn it down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now you have to. I mean, it's the way the corn grows now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what
That
did
was a
you before we go on to the next set of tours? What did you perform in the worldwide that year to go on tour to get selected on tour?
in
What was it
'83.
again? The
I
potpourri. What was it?
musical potpourri again. I had another dance group called Touch of Class.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we won first place. I can't remember where it was. I think it was right, Pat.
Okay.
No, that was '82. I can't remember. It might have been in Florida somewhere. I think it was in Florida. But yeah, it was a dance group. And then I left England in '84
Hmm.
and got stationed in Plattsburgh Air Force Base, New York.
Upstate New York. Yep.
Upstate, yeah. And I was proficient at my job, so it wasn't a problem with them letting me go compete. They
Mhm.
had seen me come there with Tops and Blue, so they knew who I was.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, it's okay. You know your job. You're okay." Um, and I ended up going that year, and my wife was pregnant. And in '84, it was the it was nothing to do with the people on the tour
Mhm.
or the way things were, because we had an awesome staff. Percy and Dave Sullivan. Come
Yeah.
on, we had those guys.
That's the dream staff right there.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
were straight. It was different for me because of what I had done, the people I worked with in '83,
Hmm.
and knowing, I'm going to tell you the real reason why I left in '84. I can't remember where we were, but we weren't staying on the base. We had to stay in a hotel. There was no billeting, and my father-in-law called my hotel room. And he said, "Hey, you're out there. I don't know what you're doing, but you're out there jumping around on stage. I don't know doing what. And my daughter's sitting here crying. And if you don't bring your behind home, I'm going to come out there. I'm going to find you and blow your brains out." My father-in-law. And I respected him, and I still love him. And
Yeah.
may he rest in peace. Because after it was all said and done, and long story short, I ended up leaving that tour.
Right.
And um, after my son was born, that was the year of the Super Bowl tour, and we did Thriller in that show,
Hmm.
everything, man. I'm going to tell you something about that too. But that year they did the Super Bowl, and while they were performing, while my brothers and sisters were on that field performing, I was holding my newborn son watching them perform.
Yeah.
Because if I had stayed out there, I would have missed him being born.
Right.
And I think that's why my father-in-law made it so urgent for me to leave that tour,
Yeah.
because he knew that that was my first child, and that was his first grandchild, and his daughter's first child, and
Right.
he knew I needed to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Absolutely not.
I was upset for a minute, but my wife, she ended up being murdered on Vandenberg Air Force Base,
Hmm.
and after it was all said and done, he pulled me outside and said, "Listen, man, don't beat yourself up about everything that's going on. I know about everything that's happened between you guys,
Hmm.
and I know you love my daughter.
Wow.
Don't beat yourself up."
So till
And
he was gone, not to get into all this, but till he was gone, you guys were very close. Did you guys stay in communication?
yes, until
Nice.
until he passed away. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Calling him Dirty Joe. Yep. But yeah, he was retired. He was in the Air Force for like 22 years. That's how he knew how to find us.
Oh yeah. You know
And
how
he
to make
worked.
an Audubon call.
Oh yeah, he worked in the hospital.
Yeah. You know how to
Yeah,
find
so
me.
he knew. But
Wow.
yeah, '84's tour was awesome, man. But let me tell you the funny thing about that tour was when after all of that was done with me and Brad and Kevin, we got in a little trouble. We got to Super Bowl staging, and Tom had us all sitting in the theater, and he was like, "Yeah, we're going to go start rehearsing the Super Bowl, with the exception of Brad. His replacement is going to be here at such and such a time." And Brad immediately started crying, and
Brad
I
had
was
no
like,
idea. That was
"No,
the first time you found out was right then.
that's right."
What?
I nudged him. I was like, "Stop crying, man." And he's like, "No, man." And that it hit me. So I raised my hand and the chief was like, "What?" I said, "Listen, if you send Brad home, you got to send me home too." He said, "Oh, well, your replacement will be here at 1:30."
Wow.
And
Those
it,
were
and
those
it,
were the days.
and it was Doug Washington,
Oh no.
legend.
Yeah.
And Doug was another one of my big brothers, and He wasn't happy about that. He when he came, because I saw him a couple times come to our rehearsals and stuff. I was like, why does Doug keep coming through here watching stuff? And he pulled me out one side and said, hey man, listen, let me tell you something. I love you like a little brother, but I'm pissed at you. And I was like, what? He's like, I don't know nothing about no damn Michael Jackson. I got to do bad. I don't know nothing about, you're going to teach me how to do this. And,
Oh, wow.
and before I left, I had to teach Doug how to do that. And he killed it.
So you had a teacher replacement.
Yeah. Yeah. Without Tom or anybody else knowing. You know,
Hmm.
it's like brother to brother. He's like, no, you're not going to have me up here looking silly. You're going
Right.
to teach this to me so that I can do it properly.
Wow.
So I had like a few hour dance course with my big brother so he could do Michael Jackson. He was pissed at me though. The whole time he's like, you should be doing this. I don't know nothing about no moonwalk or no spin.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
ain't kicking my leg. I was like, Doug, come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got you know, and I thought after being sent home, you know, that that was the end of my Thompson Blue, you know,
Little
journey.
did you know.
And yeah, I was actually retraining from security police into civil engineering into exterior electric. I was at Shepherd Air Force Base in 1987, and I'm in class. We're getting ready to test our final test, and they come to the classroom and say, "Hey, you got a call from uh, NPC. You got a call from headquarters. You need to go get it." And what did I do?
Yeah.
So
What could I have done to piss off that level?
I was like, "What?" And really, what crossed my mind was, "Why is my father-in-law looking for me again?"
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Because everything was smooth. We were good.
Hmm.
But I got to the phone and I said, "Hello, this is Sergeant Harris," and it was Tom. It was the chief, and he said, "Hey, where's your head at, Clem?" And that it messed me up. I was like, "Well, I really don't like the way things ended, you know, in '84. You know that still hurts me because you know where my heart is." And I said, "But my head has always been with Blue." And
Hmm.
he said, "Okay, good." He said, "Pass your test because I'm sending somebody home and you probably have like maybe a week, 10 days to learn the show. Can you do it?" And I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "But I got to call my wife and tell her." He said, "Get it done. I'll send you a plane ticket tomorrow."
Hmm.
I went on tour.
When, well, how not not to get too into your private life, but how did that go with your wife when you wanted to go on the road again?
You know what she said? She said, "It's been 3 years, you know, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, I figured that would happen." She said, "But you weren't going to compete. So that tells me that they really need you."
Oh, well, there's some logic to that.
Yeah.
Good
She
logic
said,
to that.
you were not going to compete ever again."
Hmm.
And I said, "I know." She said, "Well, it sounds like they need you. As long as our family is okay,
Hmm.
then I'm okay."
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I went in '87 and finished that tour with flying colors.
Nice.
And it went so well that in '88 I was at Vandenberg with Huey and Derek Wright and
Hmm.
Daryl Lamar, my Lee's Unique brothers. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
family for real.
Yeah.
Um, and my wife at the time, built relationships with them because she saw how bonded we were,
Right.
and they had families and wives and stuff. Well, he wasn't married at the time, but Daryl Lamar and Huey were married,
Hmm.
and we would all have dinners and barbecues and stuff. So Huey was like, "You gonna let Daryl compete?" And she looked straight at me and was like, I said, I didn't ask." She's like, "Oh, why you had Huey ask?" I said, "No, no, I didn't." but he just made it easier for her to deal with because he was the type of person if he really wanted something, he knew how to tell you how to get it out of you or how to get you to give him what he needed.
Right.
Through not out of tricking you, but through him really just being himself. And that was a beautiful thing. And she's like, you can go. And that's when I went and competed in '88 with Huey and them. And we went to SAC uh, and won male vocal group. Then we went to Worldwide and we didn't place. But me and Daryl Lamar were selected for tour that year in '88, The Magic of Imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And that tour was awesome. That was the Toy Store set. And Huey and Derek didn't get selected, and it hurt my heart because I'm like, now I'm missing two of my brothers. But long story short, my brothers kept going.
Yeah.
They were like, that doesn't matter. We good. And I'm proud of the fact that both of them are GR recipients.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they deserved it. So
Yep.
that's pretty
Unquestionable.
cool. But yeah, '88, that tour was we had some really, really talented people on that tour. Some really good singers and stuff. You know who had a really, really good voice to me that I used to listen to her and be like, I don't even understand how your voice is that clean and clear. Francine. Francine had a voice that was like a vibration that felt good.
Mm-hmm.
She could really
That's a
just
great description, by the way.
really thanks, man.
That's a great description. A vibration that felt good. I love that.
Yeah, bro. And there were certain people, man, that did that for me. But Francine had a voice, and our girls, they used, in our Latin set, they did all kinds of stuff. Ladies did stuff, and whenever Francine would sing, I'd be like, yeah, man, she got it. Yeah. So, but that tour, we did Bad, Michael Jackson's Bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
on 3 of my tours, we did Michael Jackson. On the '83, we did the Jackson 5. On '84, we did Thriller. And in '88, we did Bad.
Right.
And that was pretty cool. That one was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Let me tell you a funny thing about that one. We were performing at my base at Vandenberg, and at the end of Bad, I used to run across the stage and do a round off back somersault and land and do a Michael Jackson pose, right?
Did you
Well,
say a back somersault?
yeah, I used to do a no hand round off back no hand somersault and stick it.
And stick it.
And stick it and do a Michael Jackson pose.
Yeah.
And this particular night, I stuck the landing, but in the middle of the flip, my Michael Jackson wig decided it wanted to flip too. So it flipped off my head and flipped and kept flipping. And this is my base. So everybody just roared laughing. It was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. It was
Yeah.
pretty funny. And of course, I got the we used to have this award called the Lunchbox Award. If you make a mistake in the show, you can be nominated to carry this lunchbox for 24 hours. And if you were caught without the lunchbox, you'd have to pay a fine.
Oh, that was my next question. Was there a fine involved with all this?
Absolutely. So I got the Lunchbox Award for the wig flip. Yeah, man.
Had to carry that around for 24 hours?
24 hours. I don't care where you were. If someone from Tops and Blue saw you and you didn't have the lunchbox, where's your lunchbox?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you didn't have your lunchbox, did you get fined again?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Every time you were seen without it, that was a fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the folks that were in the much later years of Tops and Blue, we used to have a fine system,
Oh yeah.
and it got pretty expensive now and again.
For some.
So I had to bid back a hairbrush for quite the unreasonable amount of money one day. So there's that. Going back to '87 real quick. What was give me the breakdown of that tour? And who was your
We
tour
the
director that year?
People.
Well, you said it was who was
We
your
the
tour director in
People.
'87?
Um, Percy and Dave Sullivan again. I
Percy,
think
Percy, okay.
it was either Dave Sullivan, Percy, or just Dave Sullivan. Yeah, it was. I think it was both of them again. I can't remember.
Okay. Either way, they were management for the tour that year. Yeah.
No, absolutely. They that tour was more of a nostalgic tour
Okay.
where we went on a musical journey from like the 50s all the way up to like the 90s or the 80s, I
Hmm.
think it was. And we did, oh man, our 50 set was ridiculous, man. Oh yeah, especially when we did the filming, because what he did was join some of the stateside cast with the overseas tour.
Hmm.
So we did the filming together, but it was, a mixture.
Yeah.
And that show was so awesome, man. It had 50s, 60s. They had a Bee Gees set in the 70s that was ridiculous. Um, of course, we did the YMCA. We did a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see, and then I tell you what, our patriotic set in that show, I've never seen another patriotic set like that one. I've seen Thompson Blue try to duplicate it,
Yep.
but they've never done it like it was in '87.
Now,
Because
why do you say that? Because of the level of talent that year, or the music that was selected? Because generally speaking, it's the same kind of songs.
no, it was the costumes we were wearing.
Oh, really?
We literally were wearing some Air Force Museum costumes, uniforms.
What?
Yes, some of us were wearing like some genuine museum costumes, like like real old school. I was wearing a pilot's flight suit,
Hmm.
but there were some like from the 40s that were
Interesting.
legitimate costumes.
So they weren't stuff that like Jerry whipped up back at the production center. It was stuff that they actually got from a
Yeah,
facility and said, "Can we borrow those outfits?"
yes. Some of them, not all, but
Okay.
a lot of the stuff, like at the ending, the final patriotic set, that's where all of the, different eras of the military and the beginning of the Air Force was represented. And
Hmm.
even the ladies were dressed in different eras of uniforms and stuff. Man, I let my son watch it the other day and he tripped out. He's like, Dad,
Hmm.
did you do that flip? Because in that show, I did a flip too in '87. But I would run up and there would a guy would cup his hands and I'd stick my foot in and he'd throw me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did that and landed. And my son said, Whoa. Yes. And guess who taught me how to do a lot of that stuff? Lawman.
Really?
Yeah, man. Lawman taught me how to do a standing back summy. I could do a round off back handspring, but he said, nah, man, you need to do a back summy. That's cooler.
Yeah.
And
That's
Lawman,
cooler.
yeah, that's cool. And he
Wow.
taught me to do that. Yeah.
When you go back real quick to '83, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is I saw my first TIB show when I was at RAF Bentwaters. I don't remember if it was
Mm,
80. I want to say it was 82. Maybe it was
mm,
83. It was Chief Finn, Jose Finn. Was he on your sister tour overseas? Or was it?
yes.
So
Him
it
and
was
Carl
the same
Bullard.
year then. All right. So it was
Him and Carl
83.
Bullard. Yeah, him and Carl Bullard, Daryl H. There was a few of Maurice Staniford. Brad Reynolds was on
Right.
that
Yep.
tour. Yeah.
Yep. So that
Hmm.
was the first show I saw at the Bentwaters movie theater.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So
That was
you were
great. And
stationed in.
that's the one that got me hooked. That's literally after that was done, I was finding other instrumentalists. I said, "This is what I want to do. That's what I want to do."
You got to do it,
Yeah. Wow.
man. That's
Wow.
crazy, man. Yeah, and that was Carl's second tour because he had been on tour in '82. He was on
Wow.
that '82 tour. Yep.
Wow.
I just talked to him. Hey,
No, go ahead.
no, I'm saying I just talked to him the other day because I accidentally told him that we were going to do this, and then I remembered that you didn't want people to know right off the hand. So I said, hey man, you can't say anything. He's like, hey, little bro, you know I wouldn't say anything, man. Carl is funny. He
Yeah.
is hilarious. You know, because he said, hey man, I want that link so I can see. I was like, no, we can't do that, man. And that's why I remembered. I said, oh no, you can't say anything, Carl.
Well, at some point in time, I have all these visions of all these different type of podcasts I want to do, like the one that
Hmm.
we had with Remembering Percy a while back with Derek and Percy's sister and whatnot. But at some point, I'm gonna have a link that says anybody that toured in '88, hit that link,
Hmm.
come on the podcast. I'm
Hmm.
gonna do stuff like that. That would just be
That's
a lot of fun, like mini reunions.
yeah, man.
That would be fun to do. Who was your tour director in '88?
Um Dave Sullivan. First, I'm telling you, they were my tour directors at least three of my tours or something. Because TA was the only other tour director I've ever had.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, man. Sully and Percy was definitely uh created for those jobs.
Right.
They
Oh no, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. No,
yeah.
when I was helping out with the '97 team when I was at staging, um, he was my go-to for the he was my go-to before I talked to Tom. You know, how should I approach this? What's the best way? He was my go-to person for advice
Really?
on the tour director side of things. Yeah, he was my direct go-to.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
yeah, smart,
smart
smart.
guy. Yeah,
They knew how to you know, get people to do to respond to because a lot of the challenges that we face out there on the road, sometimes we weren't prepared for,
right.
you know. But you know, I've heard this phrase for years that I don't like this phrase. You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Hmm.
I think you're only as strong as your leadership
I would agree.
because, because a real leader won't allow a weak link to
Correct.
exist.
Yeah, the weak link will go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
So I think being around men who knew how to lead even through the storm
Hmm.
helped me navigate through a lot of things that I had to navigate through my life, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, those guys are heavyweights to me, man.
Oh,
They,
they're the cats for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know?
Was '88, and one reason I'm bringing this up because I remember we talked about this last time and it fascinated the heck out of me. So I'm going to bring it up again. Was '88 the year? Was it '87 or '88 when Zeph toured? Zeph Smith.
Zeph, I think Zeph was on tour and he toured I think he toured in 88.
I want to say it was '88 myself as well.
Yeah, but he did more than one tour, didn't he?
I don't. Did he? I don't recall that.
I can't remember, but I think it was 88.
Okay. And the reason I bring Zeph up was, and we laughed about this last time we talked, was when I got to Dover in '91, right after Desert Storm.
Uh-huh.
I did the same thing you did. I beelined to the recreation center, found out what was up with the latest things, was the next
Yeah.
talent show, all that stuff. And I was in a volunteer band a few months after I got there. I told them I was going to compete. This is when they were doing the video cassettes. This is past the whole command level and all that. This is when you're just sending video cassettes into headquarters.
Okay.
Um, so post Desert Storm kind of thing. So, anyways, I said I was going to do this, and she handed me. I'm not kidding, Daryl. I'm not kidding you. It was a box bigger than a shoebox of cassettes of Zeph,
Oh.
VHSs of Zeph, and the '88 show, and the studio version of the show.
Okay.
And said, "Go watch this." So I spent the next
Gee,
2 weeks watching Zeph play, thinking, "How am I gonna how am I gonna do this?"
she gave
Dude,
you
I went through, and to this day, I go through imposter syndrome like crazy. Like, there's no way I can do that. There is no way I can play like that guy's playing you forget the studio version of it all, because I know that's all kind of set up and kind of doctored and whatnot and dubbed and blah blah blah. But watching the shows, and then I watched his some of his solo pieces, and I was like, what am I doing here? This is nuts. So anyway, she's the one that got me into watching Zeph. So I honed in on Zeph, and then I so that was in '91. Got
Uh-huh.
select, got to go to the '91 talent show, straight to Worldwide, just straight to Worldwide.
Wow.
And yeah, I just went straight to Texas and got there. And so this was the selection process for the '92 team,
Uh-huh.
and all I could think of was Zeph stuff in my head. But anyways, it was really weird to me that two bass players came out of Dover, which I'm sure is not unheard of from other bases. I've had a zillion vocalists and whatnot.
Mhm.
But I got there, and as soon as I found out I was from Dover, everybody was going, "Do you know Zeph? You know Zeph Smith? You know Zeph Smith?" I'm like,
Wow.
yes, I've seen the videos of Zeph. He's an amazing player. I get it. I totally get it. But
Hmm.
she was so the rec center director, Claudia Nimrechter, was just so infatuated with, and she was so deadlocked on getting people to Worldwide. I mean,
See,
that was just her thing, man. She was so good at it. We had two from Dover go that year, and
it's
for the
awesome.
'93 tour, but
Yeah.
everything was Zeph. As a matter of fact, I know I mentioned this before, but that
Oh,
Roger there behind me, or that
yes, sir.
Wilco behind me,
Right
Zeph
on.
beat me at Worldwide in '92.
No way.
Zeph got the Roger, and I got the Wilco. Two bass players in finals. I don't think this
That's
has happened before.
bananas.
Yeah. So
Wow. Instrumental solo.
yeah, two guys, and he played. I don't remember the number of his piece. It was I forget what the name. It wasn't an original to my knowledge. Zeph, correct me on this if I'm wrong. Um, but I just did a piece that I wrote. It was all just me on bass on stage. First of all, I
Oh,
couldn't believe that I made finals
but
with
you
Zeph.
and it was a piece that you wrote.
Huh?
You
It was
said it
called
was
Romulan Night.
wow.
Romulan Night. And Ed Knox, Ed
Wow.
Knox produces my act. I'm over there on the wing. This is
Uh-oh.
back in the Tyndall days when you had the
Right.
huge stages when staging when the tech showed up a month beforehand to start build stages.
That's right.
Ed Knox comes out. I'm over there in the dark with my bass on, thinking, okay, was my volume up? Am I good to go?
Uh,
Sweating. And he's wearing a Star Trek shirt. And he comes out, spotlight hits him, and he goes, Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, and Ensign Leibowitz end up on a planet. Which one dies?
oh my goodness.
Everybody knows a red shirt in Star Trek died. He was wearing a red shirt, a red Star
Right.
Trek. Everybody knows the guy in the red shirt always dies in Star Trek.
Right.
And Ensign Leibowitz.
Leibowitz.
It was so funny. He was killing
It's
me.
a
I might have
funny
that name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was something in that ballpark. It was a really, really crazy name. Anyway, that was my Zeph story.
Zeph is Zeph sent me a TIB pendant when he found out that all my stuff had been sold in a garage sale. I left it at a friend's place and whatever.
It just
And Zeph,
disappeared.
yeah,
Wow.
all my stuff, all I have five Rogers, two Rogers from Worldwide and three from touring,
Mm-hmm.
and one Wilco from the dance solo. I got second place
Mm-hmm.
in that category. But Zeph sent me a Thompson Blue, a silver one. He said, "Yeah, man, I got that made in Turkey while we were there."
That's
I'm
pretty
like,
cool.
that dude is off the chain.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because our brothers and sisters in the program, that's a perfect example of what you just said. But for example, when we had the reunion in Colorado, so
Yeah.
2013, 2015, when was it?
14,
Um,
15. I
yeah,
can't
somewhere in
remember.
that ballpark.
Mhm.
Kevin Bourne, who I toured with and spent some time on the '97 tour, but from the '93 tour,
Mhm.
he had heard that I had lost my tour jacket, got ruined in a flood,
Mm.
one that was made in Korea.
Mhm.
And so we're at the final event at the Colorado reunion, and
Mhm.
I'm sitting at the table with him and his wife, and he says, "Dave, can you move your feet? My wife needs more. My wife needs more leg room, or something like that." And I'm like, "What? What?" So I go down and I look down. There's a box by my feet underneath the table. Meanwhile, the TIB band's up there playing. All these
Yeah.
priors up there doing their thing, and I'm like, "Well, there's a box." I open it up, and he had a brand new jacket made for me.
Wow.
Brand new leather, fully lined, all the correct stuff on the back, bass player, Dave Jackson, the whole 9 yards. I just broke down in tears right there. I just lost
That's our family, man.
it.
That's
Yeah.
what our family does, man.
Yep. Yep. It was
It's
very cool.
special people.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Special
very
people.
cool. What do you think over your vast time with the program? What do you think's been the biggest technological advancement we've had since the day?
Um, our lighting and sound.
Okay.
The lighting has gone to another level because our lighting truss used to have to be hand cranked to raise them. Yeah, they're tiny. Dave Rose and another tech
No
guy
chain
used to,
motors.
no, yeah, man, hand crank. And those LED boards that they were using on that last tour and stuff with all this flame on the screen, I was like, wow, this is crazy. They had all these like almost 200, it looks like pars just everywhere, all over the
Mhm.
stage, everything, all side fill lighting. So we didn't have that. We just had one lighting truss and you aim them pars to hit different spots.
Right.
And the sound was totally different,
Right.
that, you can tell it was more advanced. To be honest, I liked our sets a little bit more back in the old days because there were more to me they were more interchangeable. There were different things that we could do and
Hmm.
stuff. Like they had those LED boards, so it was automatically they could make it look like they're in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah. They can just
Or
change it like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know. And it wasn't a whole bunch of like we had sets that used to spin around and turn into something else and
Yeah.
sliding doors all over the place. So I think plus I remember us talking about this in '87 when we were on this when we had the spaceship.
Hmm.
No, it was '80. Yeah, '87 was the spaceship tour. I think was it? I can't remember, man. I went on too
You
many
did a
of
lot,
them.
man. You did a lot.
But that year we had a yeah, it was no, it was yeah, it was '87 because that was the year we were aliens and Otis and Linda was on tour, Linda Campbell. Um, we had these speakers, these long black like they just looked like boxes, like huge woofers, and it was two of them, and they were called earthquake speakers. So whenever the opening of the show, our spaceship was supposed to be landing,
Hmm.
you know, outside or on the theater, whatever, on the stage,
Hmm.
and those earthquake speakers would go off and it would shake that entire theater. It felt like something was landing.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
man. That was crazy. That I don't think they used them again after that tour. But those earthquake speakers were real.
They probably cracked a theater someplace. They probably
Looting
bumped
some
it.
seats. Yeah, that was one cool effect that we had back then. But
See, I
yeah,
would have
the
thought, I would have thought being a vocalist slash dancer, you would have said wireless microphones.
um
Because you
yeah,
were in the days of the wired microphones, right?
absolutely.
All three tours?
Absolutely. Um no, I think in '88, I think we had some wireless. I think we did. Yeah, we did have wireless in '88. But yeah, the other ones, '83, '84, '87. Wait, I only did half the tour in '84, so that one doesn't
Right,
count technically.
right.
But another thing was that Bob Hope birthday special.
Oh, yeah, yeah, let's talk about that. Absolutely.
That was so much fun, man. I mean, it was a lot of work, but we were all priors, so we were conditioned. We already knew what to expect.
Right, right.
It wasn't like we didn't know. if we didn't get this done, we were going to be there much longer. So we didn't have too many marathons, but not on purpose. There were a lot of things that happened because we had to set up that entire set for the Bob Hope show, including that big C-130, fake C-130 plane hanging
Yeah.
above the stage. All of that, that was us.
Was that set for the Bob Hope taking from the tour, or was that a completely separate thing?
Totally different. It
Okay.
was specifically for that show. Um, and who was in charge of the band that year? That was Bernie Rome.
Bernie.
Bernie had them boys cooking. Yeah, man, they was really, really good. We had a very, very close knit group of what they called back then the Tops and Blue All Stars. Tommy Mason, Jane McNulty, Carl Bullard, myself, Robert Wade, Brad Reynolds.
Wow.
Yeah, those were the guys. Carol Roan, um, Carmen Martinez. Who else? I'm missing somebody. Don't be mad if I missed your name, ladies.
They'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm 62. You gotta excuse me.
Yeah. That's crazy. We're the same age. I had no idea.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
What's your
but
birth month?
August.
You're a Leo.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Leo.
Get out.
July 62.
There you go.
25th.
My son is July 11th,
Wow. Not a Leo.
but he's not a Leo.
Not a
No,
Leo. Yep.
no.
Wow.
Wow, Leos.
Leos,
Whoa.
man.
That's right, man.
So that's a good transition. Let's talk about Bernie a little bit. Give me your thoughts on Bernie Roan.
Um, Bernie was different, man. I when it came to music, we touched on it before, and I believe there was something about Bernie that you knew that there was levels to it.
Mhm.
You know, there was levels to it because we discussed it, and you and I both were like, whoa, because he didn't just teach you how to play what was on the sheet music
Mhm.
or how to just follow timing stuff. He taught you feel.
Yeah.
He taught you
Well,
how
it's all
to.
here.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And I used to hear him say, why play if you don't want to groove?
Yeah.
You got to groove too. You got to feel it and groove. You can't just dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
He was never that, man. And he was also one of those guys, because I was young back in those days, man. I was when I first toured, I think I was like 20, 21 or something. And my last tour, I was 26. And a couple of the legends would pull me aside every now and then. And Bernie was one of them. He said, "Hey, man, hey, P, they watching you, man. You gotta be careful. Slow down." I'm like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And he was never big on saying a whole bunch. He'd say what he had to say, and if you got it, you better get it. If
Mhm.
you didn't get it, you better get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I love that dude, man. Him, Percy, JB, all of the old guys. Now Bernie and Percy at Worldwide one year, they said, "Hey, you got to meet us up in Bernie's room. We're gonna meet up in Bernie's room, like some mob type stuff." I thought I was, I already seen how hard Percy can punch. He was an Air Force boxer, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to fight Percy and Bernie. Yeah. So we get in the room, and he's like, "Yeah, get a drink. What you drinking?" I was like, I don't really like to drink because of what happened in '84. So I was like, I really don't like to drink. They're
Right.
like, "No, you're gonna drink right now." So we drank and stuff, and they were basically telling me, "Hey, man, you got to conduct yourself a certain way."
Oh, so this is a bit of a meeting.
Yeah, this was a big brother meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was something that I really felt that I needed and I needed to hear because they weren't telling me I was horrible, I was doing stuff wrong. They were just telling me the proper way to conduct myself because of the amount of eyes that were on me for many different reasons, and I just understood at the time. I really got it. And Bernie was the type of guy that if he felt that you weren't really understanding what he was trying to say, he wouldn't leave it alone. He would make sure that you understood it, because anything that he wanted you to understand, it was out of love. It was never out of, you're going to get and do what I say and shut up. It was never that,
Right.
you know. But to the musicians, it might have been that way sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
he was a stickler with the band.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was definitely a perfectionist. But in that arena, you knew it was out of love. You knew it wasn't out of him just being a butthead,
Yeah.
you know. And that's the way I used to take it when Tom used to get on us about choreography,
Mm-hmm.
because I caught choreography very quickly and sometimes others didn't, but I never got mad at other people for not getting it. I was always one to say, come on, let's do it. Let's get it
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to hear. But Tom would pick certain times, even if you got it right, he would say, hey, do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get that out of you, just to get that. And he said something to me one time that I appreciated. He said, like, he told me to work with the guys, the male vocalists, and get this song that they were doing, they were sitting on stools and they needed choreography for it. And he told me to do it.
Oh.
And yeah, so I had the male vocalists outside of Bob Hope sitting on stools, rehearsing, getting it down, getting it tight. And he walked by and they were doing it. And he just looked and he kept going, right? He didn't say nothing. So then when he called everybody in for a meeting and stuff, he was like, I saw the guys outside rehearsing and horrible. It just looked lackluster. It was just like you just didn't even want to be here. And I was like, those guys were sitting out in the heat sweating. I was saying this to myself, and Daryl raised my hand. He's like, what? Because he knew
Yeah.
with the same tone, he's what? And I said, well, Chief, honestly, man, they were working hard out there, and I want to give them some props, man. I think they look good. He said, okay, all right. Then he pulled me out to the side. He said, hey, Clint, don't ever do that in front of the kids.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm trying to do. I might be trying to do something that you don't understand. Don't do that. I said, yes, sir. I'm sorry, Chief.
I don't have enough. I don't have enough fingers and toes to tell you how many times Tom Edwards gave me that speech in '97. Don't do that in front of the kids. Don't ever say that. So use that word again. That's not how you
Yeah.
approach it. Do it this way. Why would you say that? I had them all, man. Listen, I have said, not to digress from this from talking about Bernie, but I can say I was schooled, not yelled at, but I was schooled and admonished more by Tom Edwards than I did my dad, my brother, my grandfathers, and my uncle.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
together.
I can believe it, man.
Yep. Yep.
He was another one. But yeah, man, that experience gave me thicker skin, because before I went in the military, man, I'm originally from the Bronx, New York,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was in the Harlem Children's Theater Company.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I was performing off Broadway and on Broadway, all that kind of stuff, man. And I toured Europe at 13 with the Harlem Children's Theater Company.
what?
Yeah, so
Someday we're gonna have to talk about that. We're
yeah,
gonna talk
man.
about that someday.
Okay. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
that sounds amazing.
oh man, that was really what made me want to continue,
Mm,
because I started in musical theater. That's what I was doing, and
mm,
I was doing print work. I was doing modeling and commercials and stuff, and it used to piss my mom off sometimes, because she would see how much I was getting paid for a few hours worth of work.
right?
she wasn't getting that for like a month's worth of work.
Right.
Wait a minute. Yeah, but it was pretty cool, man. But when I moved to Atlanta, I went to the School of Performing Arts here, and I met a whole bunch of people, man. That like Jasmine Guy went to that school.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jasmine, her and her sister Monica, they were there. Dude, RuPaul went to that high school.
What?
Yeah, it was called Northside School of Performing Arts. Yeah, there were tons of. There's a guy who was a Broadway star, Rex Smith. I think that was his name. He was in Pirates of Penzance on Broadway or something like that.
Hmm.
And he was from. But there was a few people. We've had tons of musicians and people like that. Crystal Fox, she's on a lot of Tyler Perry's movies. But let's get back to what we were talking
Bernie.
about.
Back to Bernie.
Um, Bernie at the Bob Hope show. I saw Bernie work magic because there were so many. We had to do so many different things within that unit. Like we had to set up to perform for the celebrities,
Hmm.
and we'd have to edit the show to make it fit a certain amount of time to perform for the celebrity.
Right.
We had to do, all these different cuts and all these different things. And Bernie was so on this. It was like he'd say, "Hey, drop these four measures here, and replace it with this, and we're going to transition into this, and let's go."
That was probably 10 minutes before the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. But the musicians we had that year were crazy. Luis Santiago,
Hmm.
he was one of the keyboard players. Dave, I can't remember what Dave's last name. We had some serious musicians, man. Some serious musicians that were really cool. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Gary Rice was on bass for the Bob Hope show.
I don't think I've ever met, seen, or heard of his playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year he toured. Um, with glasses, black guy. I can't remember what year he was on. Um, but Bernie, uh, not only was he a musical uh, director and musical inclined, Bernie could tell the vocalists what notes to hit too. How to sing. Yeah, that ear, man.
Bernie had an ear, man.
That
Bernie
ear
had
was.
an ear.
Oh my gosh!
He didn't have Terry Griffey's ear, but he still had an ear.
Nobody has Terry Griffey's ear.
Correct.
Terry's an alien.
Yeah.
That dude. Yeah. When you say perfect pitch, you see Terry's picture in the
Yeah.
dictionary next to it. That,
Yeah.
and you know who else had perfect pitch? Terry Weeks.
Oh, okay.
That dude, oh my gosh. And even Bernie used to say, like when we'd be rehearsing and stuff, Bernie would sit back and do like this. Like, did that just come out of that little 140-pound dude? What
Wow. Yeah.
is that? Terry, oh my gosh, Terry had perfect pitch. He could sing anything. That was crazy. Bernie used to love to challenge us like that to see if we could, and man, we were up for the challenge because we had our vocal coach that year. His name was in '83. His name was Brian Madison, and
Okay.
Brian was one of the old school vocal group guys. He was like with the old man, them guys that used to come with vocal groups that would wipe everybody out.
Right.
Brian was one of those guys, and
Okay.
so he was working with us, and we're still in contact. I still talk to him, periodically, but he um he made sure that we were so tight that Bernie would look at us like, wait a minute, because Bernie a couple times Bernie would hear us rehearse, and he'd lean forward or something like, who taught them that? And that was us working, man. We our work ethics, man, back then were our work ethic was if we're not going to stop till they tell us to stop. you know, and we got that type of stuff from people like Bernie. JB was another one. JB
Yep.
was another guy.
Yep.
You know, he'll work you to death and cuss you out, but love you at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you and with JB, if he was teaching you a step and you couldn't get it, he said, wait. Everybody go over there and wait. We're gonna get this right. And he would work with you until you got it, and then bring it. Come on. That's the type of love that I'm glad that I was able to experience through my Thompson Blue family, because that journey, because I'm an only child, man. I don't have any biological brothers and sisters.
Oh, I didn't know that
From
either. Okay.
my mother and father. Now, my father got married maybe two or three more times after my mom, and he had kids with each wife. So I do have brothers and sisters in the world that I've never met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm an only child, dude. So
Mm.
my Thompson Blue family is
It's your family.
yeah. You guys are my brothers and sisters, uncles, aunties,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah. And we're a fairly tight knit group, as you
Yeah,
can
man.
tell. As you can
We
tell.
we have our issues with each other, but at the end of the day, if it's time to go burn a stage down, we're going to do
We're gonna
that.
burn the stage down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that,
Exactly
that's
right. You're exactly
yeah,
right. Now
yeah.
my Bernie, and you and I had discussed this before. My Bernie, I came full circle with Bernie. I met
Oh,
Bernie in USAFE when he was working for Joanne Mellon.
okay.
When he was running the USAFE showcase and running the talent shows over there. And I
Mm-hmm.
was doing an instrumental solo, um, 88. And it was during the tech rehearsals, and I said something really stupid with the band, like, can't you guys just come down to my level or something like that. Dude, I was a cocky punk. I really was. That's why it took me from
No way.
that's why it took me from 83 to 92 to make tour, okay? Because
No
of my
way.
attitude. Everybody that knows me knows that's exactly right. Dave was out for Dave for the longest time. Anyways, I was up there on the stage, and I said something snarky to the band, and Bernie was like 4 seats back in the theater, and he had his clipboard, and I said this to the band, and the band kind of looked at me like this, and they kind of looked back at Bernie like this. And
Oh,
you can see Bernie take that marker and go right across my name.
right.
So
Oh,
I knew, I knew there was no chance of going. I knew then that my performance was the only thing that counted. Just get through it, because if I can't get through this guy, I'm not gonna get to Joanne Mellon.
mm.
Even I had a vocal audition with Bernie at that
What?
that talent show. Yeah,
Wow.
I had a vocal
Wow.
audition with Bernie that talent show, and and he would just go through that, have us, you hit a note on the piano, and I'd have to match it with my voice and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But so I did that. I Through 2 years of USAFE and competing against Chris Knox of all people, took second place against Chris Knox. Never got selected for showcase,
What?
but so I never saw Bernie again until staging in '93.
Oh,
I
boy.
had no idea he was coming to help with staging. So we were like week 7 of staging up there. I think we've eaten like 5 times or whatever. And I got skin hanging off my fingers.
Oh my gosh.
But Bernie walks down the aisle, and I recognize him immediately for obvious reasons. He's a very distinguishable man.
Right.
And he walks up the stage, and he stops the band from rehearsing, and he pulls us around, and he goes, "Oh, I see you finally made it."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So staging went okay with Bernie. He went on the road with us for a while. He helped us overseas for a while. That all
Cool.
worked out fine. And then in '97, he went back on the road with us when I was doing tour management in '97. And
Okay.
him and I we just didn't get along.
You
Tom
see,
saw it. Tom saw it. But then after that, I went home early. I resigned off that tour after 4 months. Same
oh,
because I should have never gone on that tour. It was the 50th anniversary of the Air Force tour. I'm a master
uh,
sergeant. Tom, asked me to go. I was overwhelmed. I said, okay, I'll go. But
right.
I was in the middle of building a house for my family.
Oh no. Yeah. Oof. Ooh.
So we got to Patrick. I was hearing little things from my wife as the tour progressed. We got to Patrick Air Force Base, and I called her to get an update, and she says we're losing the house because the contractors aren't paying their bills to the, they weren't doing the right thing. And I was like, I got to go home. So
Whoa.
I went home. I told Tom that was the day Ed Jones walked me to the airport in the quiet of the night.
Mm.
Ed took me to the airport, the usual thing, put all your stuff in a bag, separate your stuff. They'll take you to the airport. Don't talk to anybody, blah, 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 blah. So I got to experience the walkout. But
Damn.
anyways, a couple years later, it was in DC, no, maybe it was 98 when they came back. No, it was in 90, I don't know, one of the worldwides. I sat down
Right.
with Bernie and we buried the hatchet and we hugged for a long time. I
Yeah,
mean, it was
man.
really emotional. We both teared up, and I said, Bernie, I apologize for anything in the past. He
Awesome.
apologized. Well, I mean, we totally met. From then on, we were totally fine. And then when I found out he passed away, um,
Mm.
and I remember telling you this story, and it's worth repeating because to me, it's just one of those things in my life that I just still can't believe it happened.
Yeah, man.
Calling Bernie was at his funeral or at his calling hours. I was standing next to his brother, next to Bernie's casket, open casket. I got his brother right next to me, and he had some stuff on
Yeah.
his outfit that he was wearing, on his suit he was wearing. And I said, you know what he's missing? And his brother goes, what? I said, he's missing something that represents TIB on his outfit.
Mm.
I had my 93 TIB pin,
Oh, yeah.
the gold version, not the
Yeah,
silver, the gold version.
that's right.
And he said, well, go ahead and put it on him. I'm like, what? He says, no, you're right. He was with that program for so long. I said, I said, I can give him my pin. And he says, yeah, put it on him. So I reached down, took my pin off, put it on Bernie's lapel, and Bernie's buried with my TIB pin. To this
Amen, man.
day, to this day, that's still, I mean, I got goosebumps just talking about it right now.
Love you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
that's it.
amazing to me how that whole relationship arced like that with Bernie.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle with Bernie. And I was hesitant to go to his calling hours. Um, I really couldn't tell you why I was hesitant. I think I was actually even kind of nervous. But I
Mm-hmm.
I got in my car. I went to Maryland and paid my respects.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah, it breaks my heart that I wasn't able to be there for Jimmy or Bernie, man.
yeah.
But yeah, they know I did talk to Sully, Dave Sullivan, and Rich Bailey.
Oh, okay.
Um, Rich called me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He started messing with me, and then he said, "Lakeith said hi." So I said, "Hey, sis," and I didn't know that he had passed the phone to Sully. So I'm on the
Oh,
phone saying, "Hey, sis, how you doing, sis?" And Sully said, "First of all, my name ain't sis." I was like, "Sully, come on now. I didn't know you were on the phone." He's like,
wow.
"Okay, bro, make sure you get it right." I was like, "All right, man. I'm sorry, bro."
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I talked to him recently. Yeah, man. I watched the streaming of the ceremony though
Mhm.
of Jimmy's thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Foucher. Thank you, Andrea,
Yeah.
for doing that because I watched it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I
I
I
loved
I
it.
was bummed I couldn't get down there for that. I couldn't get down there for Percy either. So let's talk about Percy real quick too before we let you go. Let's get
Okay.
your thoughts on the man, the myth, and the legend. Not a myth, straight up
Man,
legend.
yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
I can tell you when I did, you know, have to leave in '84. Percy was the one who came and collected all of the TIB stuff, the bag and all this stuff, and he came in there and I was packing it all up and putting it up there, and he just looked at me. He said, "This is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do." And we both stood there for about 10 seconds and just hugged, man. And I said, "I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry, but I have to go,
Yeah.
you know." And he just grabbed my stuff and he said, "Well, maybe we'll see you again, man. You never
Mhm.
know." I said, "I probably not after this," but I was wrong. But yeah, Percy would call me, like you said, Jimmy would call out the blue. Percy would say, "Hey, boy,
Yeah.
what you doing, little big head boy?" and check on me. I went out to staging one year, and Percy and his wife took me to dinner, and I know we went out there for Air Force reunion or something, and me and Derek stayed at Percy's house while we were there for the reunion. And I fell in love with one of his dogs. His German Shepherd would climb up in the bed with me and sleep with me. Percy would come in the morning and say, "Daryl, what? Why is he in bed with you, man?" I'm like, "Cause hey, that's he knows who's cool in this house, Percy."
Yeah, the
Yeah,
dog knew
man,
what was up.
that's right, man. Yeah, but Percy, he would just check on you, man. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, and you knew it was a love thing. It wasn't just a hey, how you doing? It was a genuine
yeah,
I love you, and that was the main thing that and at his memorial service, man, it was really hard because I was one of his pallbearers,
yeah,
me and Derek, and that was rough, and it was hard for me too because Percy was a heavy dude. He's kind of big dude. You know what I mean? Percy was not like, oh man, that dude bring. I can't do anything but smile when I talk about
yeah,
him because that's the type of person he was.
yeah,
You know, love that dude, man.
yeah. Miss him terribly.
Oh,
I one of the things about coming back and working worldwide is I could not wait to see you guys. I just could not wait to see you guys.
yes,
I could not wait to walk in the door and see, who am I going to see first? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be Libby? Is it going to be Derek? Who's it
right,
going to be? I just I could
exactly.
not wait to see you guys.
I'm telling you, I was the same way. I could not. It used to break my heart sometimes because Terry used to call me and she said, "Hey D, Chief told me to call you. We'll bring you in." And sometimes she would call and say, "Hey D, they're shortening the amount of people they're bringing in, so you're not gonna be able to come this year. I'm sorry."
Yeah,
And we both be bummed on the phone for about 5 minutes, and then we perk back up and be like, "It's
yeah,
okay."
yeah.
But yeah, man, I used to love coming down there to see everybody, man. It was like a family reunion every year for
It
me.
was a lot of hours, but a great family reunion.
Yeah, yeah,
But we
yeah. And
didn't
like,
care. We didn't care.
no,
Daryl, we didn't care. We
nope.
got it done. We still had a good time. Did what we had to do and popped out.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good time. We did put in some hours with some of them kids because some of them needed it,
Yeah, absolutely.
but it was well orchestrated.
Hmm.
You know, I'm glad they figured it out and put a system in place that really worked for that situation because they even changed the name to Mission Audition.
Mission audition. Yeah,
Yeah, it used to be Air Force Worldwide Talent Contest. You know,
yeah,
a lot of them kids didn't get the history of the program that we got when we went through.
right.
You know, like if you ask one of the new kids from the later years, what how many stars are around Roger and what do they represent?
They wouldn't know.
They would not know. They wouldn't.
No.
And it's different things like that. You know, and now see, I forgot this, but I used to know this. There was a general who loved Tops and Blue, who would make sure that we got everything that we needed, and I can't remember his name.
Was he a chief of staff or was he like a command general? Was he
He
someone?
was I think he was a command general.
Okay.
But we did have a chief of staff who was crazy about Tops and Blue too.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I was just talking about him the other day. Oh, not the one that Tom didn't like. Peak was a bad one.
Yeah.
Was it Peak McPeak or something like that?
I don't remember.
Tom had we had there was one guy just did not like TIB. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, when we were overseas, we were in Eastern Europe in '93, and he was staying in the same hotel that we were, and his staff, we couldn't go anywhere near that guy. I was like, my room was right next to this guy, and we were told don't approach him, don't go anywhere near him. And I want to say it was Bulgaria. Somebody in 93 correct me on this. I want to say it was
Wow.
Bulgaria. And he was there for some sort of like NATO thing
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. And we're in the same hotel and he wouldn't come out and see TIB. Air Force General wouldn't come out and see us. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Some of them just didn't get it.
Yeah.
They thought the program was a waste of money, all kinds of stuff. But they didn't see the times that we were in those remote places
Mm-hmm.
that our troops were out there crying and you brought a piece of home here. Thank you.
Right. Yep.
You know, they didn't see that stuff.
They didn't understand that we gave people an hour and a half away from the real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
And
didn't
it didn't
understand
matter
that.
to us. It didn't
Yep.
matter where we were coming.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
You know, those I never went on an overseas tour, so I never went to like the real small remote bases and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Right.
But we went to some small sites on the stateside tours too.
Oh, you went up to like the Dakotas and all that stuff
Yeah,
up way up north, right? Yeah.
yeah, man. Some radar sites, all kinds of stuff, missile launches and sites.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was stationed at Vandenberg, and I didn't know that Vandenberg had 35 miles of coastline, man.
First of all, Vandenberg's huge.
Until I became an exterior electrician.
Uh,
And every once in a while, we had to go perform maintenance on those silos to make sure that the lights and everything were operational.
right.
That's when I found out how
Wow.
huge Vandenberg was.
You can drive forever and not see Vandenberg, all of Vandenberg. Edwards is the same way, right? Edwards is the same way.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Huge. Monster base.
Now, which one? Eglin is the largest, right?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe.
Or, but yeah, man, dude, you got to keep doing this, man. This is so special,
I
bro.
intend to. I intend to. I absolutely intend to. I enjoy talking to people. All
Yeah,
right,
man.
good sir. It's been a sorry for the technical delays. I love you I love you like a brother. So there's
Love
that.
you, brother. Love you, brother.
Miss you terribly. Oh, real quick, tell the story how the term Shagness came around.
Oh, what was that? What was that guy's? It was a contestant. What was
Right?
his name? O'Shaughnessy or something like that.
O'Shaughnessy. Was it
O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy? And
That was
Walt was up there trying to decipher the name.
it.
Dude, I
that, that
died.
that Austin Powers thing, man.
I
That was
about died.
that was hilarious. O'Shagness.
Shagness. Ever since that, it has stuck all these years later. Wow. It's hysterical.
And it continues.
And
That's
it
right.
continues. And it will continue till it can't continue anymore.
There we go, man. Hey,
All right,
Blue,
old
love
friend.
you,
Well, I
brother.
love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on with me. And
Blue love.
I will get this situated and I'm going to release it Monday. Don't say
Awesome,
anything.
man.
Don't say anything.
Nothing,
All right.
nothing,
All right.
nothing.
All
All
right,
right,
sir.
brother. Love you,
All
man.
right. I love you, Daryl. Take care, man. Tell your
Love
son,
you.
tell your kids I said hi. Please.
Amen. Tell your family, everybody, and take care of yourself, bro.
I will,
Please.
man. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.